Okay, let's see. Let's see. How do I get the chat in the screen? There we go. Oh, there is a message. Okay, maybe it's easier for me to have the chat on my phone so I can read it better than on the screen. Hi there, everyone. Welcome to this live Q&A about Sugaridoo Happy Notes, about my new book. So let's just get me set up. I thought I would be able to read the chat comments from the screen, but it's just a little bit too far away. So I'll just have it on my phone so I can read what you're typing in there. I see Teresa there. And Rebecca, hi there. Yeah, so I'm just going to take it, sit here for just a tiny while, so for a short while to let everybody drop in. Good morning from Minnesota. Hi there from Maine. Hello from all over the world. How awesome is that? I still find it so special. We always had that with the Quilt Along live Q&As. Everybody from all over the world, from Canada. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, Monica. Hi, Ippy and Sylvia from Alaska. Hi, Jane and Audrey. Hi there. Thank you so much for joining. So today is all about Sugaridoo Happy Notes, my book. It's finally almost done. So the graphic designers are finalizing it, and then it's off to the printer, and then it will ship out on the 1st of July. That is 1 month from now. It's so exciting. Yes, so yeah, I'm super happy. It is when I was writing the introduction for the book, I scrolled back through the WhatsApp chat that I had with my mom, because I always chat with her about new ideas. So I searched for things like book, things like new sampler quilt, and then I found out that this idea began 3 years ago. 3 years ago already we started thinking about a new sampler, and then I started designing it, and now 3 years later it's done. And in between a lot happened. We moved house, and little Ella was born, and the studio was built. So a ton of things happened in between, but now also the book is done, and I'm super happy. Oh, and that you're so excited makes me even happier. Hi there, everybody joining. Welcome. So I thought it would be fun to start with a question that was sent in through Instagram. I shared there this morning that we were going to do a live Q&A, and I thought it was a cool question. Someone said, I love the title. What was the inspiration? I have some notes over here, so I keep track on what I want to tell you. And if in the meantime you have a question, just put it in the chat box, and then I'll go through it and answer all your questions, everything you want to know. So the question, love the title, what was the inspiration? So the title of the book is Happy Notes. Happy little things that bring joy. That was the idea behind the book. And I think it's a follow-up on the first sampler I made. So that was the Sugaridoo sampler. I just called it Sugaridoo sampler. And that was inspired by a quilt I once made for my mom. And on that quilt I put everything that my mom and I loved. So there was a sewing machine, a sailboat, a bike, little pencils, because my mom was a primary school teacher. So all the things that we both love were on that quilt. And that was the inspiration for my Sugaridoo sampler first book. And now the idea started a little bit, I'm not sure which one was the first inspiration, but one of the things was during the Q&As from our previous Sugaridoo Benina Quilt Along. Was it the first Quilt Along? I think the first Quilt Along. that always made me so super happy. And you could just feel through the screen how much everybody enjoyed it working on that together. And I got a lot of positive feedback from that quilt along through my email, of people sending me messages like what that quilt along did for them. Like every month it was a little spark of joy, and it really made them happy to quilt on it together. And of course, that blended in with the pandemic and COVID happening, and people being more at home. And well, there was a lot of uncertainty and non-happiness happening in the world, all over the world. So we were all experiencing that at the same time, no matter where you lived. So during that time, I figured it was even more important to focus on the tiny little things that bring us joy. We couldn't do everything at that time that we normally would do, but there were still always things that you could do or things that you could enjoy that brought joy, that brought happy. So I think that's the main reason behind the book. So in the sampler, because it's a sampler quilt, I captured all blocks that have a tiny story behind it, and I share all those tiny stories in the book as well, of things that bring joy. So this block is in there, a little sprout, a little plant, and seeing a seed grow and those few fresh leaves that want to grow upwards towards the sun. It's just a very simple thing that you might not notice it when it happens outside, but when it's happening inside, or when you have your attention on it, it can bring so much joy. So all of those tiny joyful moments are captured in the sampler quilt in the book. So I think it's a wonderful quilt to make, and also isn't it a word, ponder about it a little bit while you're making it. What does this blog say to me? Does this make me happy, or what do I feel about it? And I think you can do that with all the blocks in the quilt. And that is also what I want to do with the quilt along that goes with the book. But that is something that's going to start, I think, at the end of the year. So maybe September, October, or November, probably October, November. And then we're going to do a quilt along with the whole sampler quilt. So yeah, that is where I got the inspiration for the book. And that is why it's called Happy Notes. Yeah. So let's see. Oh yeah, Karen says, love the quilt on the wall. Oh, thanks, Rebecca. Yes, it's a tree house quilt. I thought a wide wall behind me would be a little bit boring, so I put up the quilt. Yes, so this is not in the book, but it's a older pattern of me. Yeah, so let's see. How are we going to do this? Maybe, yes, I have some information that I want to share with you, some basic information, and maybe that will also give reason to for questions. But there was another question, actually two on Instagram. Those were, is the book available in the US, or will be the book available in print in the US? And the other question was, is the book available in Germany, or is it better to order from you directly? And that is a good question, and also the main reason why I thought I need to do a Q&A. I wrote that in my newsletter yesterday because I wanted to share a lot about a little bit the behind the scene process of how it's going to be with the book and the printing, and then, well, all the practical information like shipping and costs and kits, everything rolled out from there. So let's start with, where will it be available? And that was the main thing that I had to make a decision about. If you read my newsletter, you might wondered, well, what was the decision that you need to make? Initially I wanted to have my book printed in the US and also over here. I live in the Netherlands, so I wanted to have a print over here so I can ship out my book together with fabric kits, and I wanted to have it printed in the US so it could ship out from the US. But it turned out to be more economical to just have it printed over here only. And so over here is the Netherlands in Europe. So yeah, have it printed here and then ship it out from here. But then of course, outside Europe, the shipping costs are pretty high normally. So I calculated and did some stuff and well, did a lot of research. Won't bother you with that too much, but turned out that I could do a lot with the shipping costs. So for my book, it's going to be affordable to order it from outside Europe as well. So that means that the book will still be available for quilters all over the world. So that is a little happy dance worthy. Yeah, so that's the main message. It will be available for quilters all over the world, and it will be available in print and even a signed copy if you order it during the pre-sale if you want that. So that is because all the books will ship from the Sugaridoo studio, so all the books will go through my hands, through our hands, before they go to you. That is kind of special, I think, because the plan was to have it shipped from the US, but we're going to do it this way. So a little bit of details on the pricing and the shipping, some practical things. So the book will be 30 euros, and that is, I wrote it down, 30 euros, that is about 32 US dollars, 43 Canadian dollars, 26 British pounds. So then you have an estimate of what's it going to be. And in the book, it is quite a big project that is in there. So the book has about 130 pages, so it's kind of being a big book with 20 blocks, so 20 different sampler blocks in a few different sizes, and about 10 quilt projects that are made with those blocks. So all the blocks are in true scale in the book, so you don't have to do any scaling or printing or anything like that. You can just put your paper on top of the pattern and trace it. It's all going to be foundation paper piecing like this one. Yeah, so that's the book. That's the main thing, and the shipping that comes with that. So when you buy a book and only the book, then inside Europe you will pay 5 euros for shipping for just the book. And outside of Europe, it will be 10 euros of shipping. So when you live in the US, it will be, I think, $11 or something like that for shipping for just the book. So that was the affordable rate that I could make it. And then, so that is for the book that will be sent in a kind of envelope packaging. To make it affordable, and then you also have an option to do an ebook. Then you don't have to pay any shipping costs, and the book will be a tiny bit cheaper. So there's a little discount for ebooks, and then of course you have a digital version that you will have to print yourself. And the other option is having a book and also having a kit or supplies or anything you would like from the shop. And then we also have a fixed shipping rate, which is awesome. Everything that you buy with the book, that package will be 10 euros for sending within Europe and 15 euros for sending outside of Europe. So if you have a book and a kit on any material you want with it, batting, backing, that will be a fixed price of 15 euros for shipping. So quite happy with that, because normally shipping to the US you pay 30 euros in my shop. So yeah, happy with this to make it affordable to ship it out all over the world, to make it available to all quilters. And Rebecca asks, is there scaling for the ebook? No, also with the ebook you get all the patterns scaled already to the right side for the projects in the book. So yeah, that is all in there. So when you get your book, it is all exactly the same if you have the PDF version or the printed version. Only the printed version has a big folded pattern sheet for a special project that is also in the book. We added a big foldable pattern sheet in the back of the book, and of course you don't have that with the PDF version, but you will have it on true size and you will have to print it and put it together. But it's all true to size, so you don't have to scale as well from the PDF. Yay, thanks! That is great news about books, as Justine, thanks. And Teresa asks, is it spiral bound? Well, it is not spiral bound. I did look into that, but we chose to do a soft cover book, which is as flat as possible. So you have soft cover books that stay open like this. That's not ideal for when you want to do foundation paper piecing. So we have one that is as flat as possible. So that makes it easier. And we also thought to put the patterns. So when this is your book, we made sure that the patterns are not all the way to the center. So the patterns are do have some distance from the spine of the book, so that it's easier to trace. So yeah, we thought about that because it's especially for FPP, so it should be easy to use for FPP. Jane asks, will it be available on Amazon? I am looking into that. I think I want to have it on Amazon, but I don't have any experience with it yet, so I do have to do some research to put it on there. But then I think we have the issue of Amazon Europe and Amazon United States. Not sure. I will look into that, but don't have more info on that right now. And Kat asks, what are the measurements of the paper in the book? It is, I think it's letter format, so it's 8.5 by 11 inches. That's the size of the book. Or Kat, do you mean the extra in the book? Oh, and Kat says, I take my books to UPS and they will add spiral for $7. Yes, I heard that also from another quilt shop in the US, that some quilters buy a book and then go to a print shop and then have a spiral bound. Yes, and that is an option because we did keep some distance from the spine. So if you want, you can do that to the book. Rebecca asked, will the patterns be available to download individually? Yes, eventually, yes, but for now it's just bound in the book, so all the patterns are in there together. Okay, I'm really getting excited by all of your excitement. Okay, so we did the book specifics a little bit. Oh yes, so there is one big sampler in the book. That is a really big project. It has all the blocks in it, a few versions of all the blocks. I love the quilt in that size. It's quite large. It is 63 by 84 inches. So 63 by 84 inches. So it's a big quilt. And if you want to make that quilt, we have kits. So then you need a half-yard bundle. So this is a half-yard bundle with beautiful Kona cottons and also fabrics by Sassafras Lane that go with that. So I designed the book with this. So this is exactly the fabric that is also being used in the book, which is kind of special, I think, because the way it works with fabric collections is that they come out and then they run for a specific time and then they won't be restocked again. So when I was writing the book and designing the quilt and making the quilts, I fell in love with these fabrics by Sassafras Lane. And then I figured, okay, if this is going to turn into a book, I really want to sell quilt kits with it. So I ordered a ton of fabric of this line when it was still out there. So we have kits. It is what it is. So what we have quite a lot. So it will for sure be enough for all of you to order. But it is the case that when this runs out, then the book will still be available. But the fabric, at some point, it won't be available anymore. But this is the bundle that you use for the big quilt, and this is a ½ meter bundle. So that's a small, oh, how do you say that? It's a little bit bigger than a ½ yard bundle. And that is 120 euros, so about 128 US dollars, 172 Canadian dollars, and 104 British pounds. So that's the price for a ½ meter bundle for this. And then you have options. So this is all the main fabric in the blocks, like you can see here. So this is the main fabrics. And then you pick a background. You can pick your own background, just use something you already have, or I have 3 options. This is bone. This is what I used in my version of the quilt. You can also go with a darker one or with a light gray one. So those are options that you can order with the kit. So it's kind of a mix and match. When you want to have the book, you can choose, do I want some fabrics with it? Think you can go for a ½ meter bundle for the whole quilt, or a fat quarter bundle for the smaller version of the sampler. So I added a smaller version of the sampler, which is about 40 by 60 inches. So it is still a sampler quilt with all the blocks, but then a smaller version. And then you can also do with a smaller fabric bundle. So you can pick between fabric bundles, and then you can pick, do I want batting or not? Do I want a backing or not? Do I want what is it called? Background fabric. So you can assemble your own quilt kit, just like everything. What do you need? What do you already have at home? So you can put your own kit together. Yeah, but with this, also if you want to make not the sampler quilt, but just some smaller projects from the book, then you can go with a fat quarter bundle, and that will provide you with all of the fabrics that you want to make a few smaller projects from the book. So yeah, I think those are a lot of fun that we can offer that with the book. Of course, you can make a sampler in your own fabrics, but I know there's always people who love to go with the colors from a project, so that is possible. Let's see if there's questions about this. Elizabeth asks, will the digital version be in your Etsy shop? Yes, that will be in my Etsy shop. Kat asks, oh, thanks for explaining the margins, that is awesome. Yeah, I think that's wonderful when you're making it as a designer and user. I'm also a quilt user who uses quilt books, so that's nice. Then you know what needs to be in the book and how the book should be. Kat asks also, can we pre-order? Yes. So on the 6th of June, on my birthday, next week, Tuesday, I believe, then the pre-sale starts. I thought that would be a lovely birthday celebration, and so then the pre-sale starts. I'm going to go into the details about the pre-sale soon, but yeah, on the 6th of June it will start, and there's a ton of extras and fun things when you order during the pre-sale. Hi Dorit, you just started watching. How can you get the book? Well, on the 6th of June the pre-sale is starting. I will share more about that soon. Rebecca says, oh, I'm happy to see you smile. Oh, thank you. That is lovely. And Lynn likes the quilt behind me. Thanks. That is the Tree House quilt. It's not going to be in the book, but it's just I thought a lovely decoration of the wall behind me. Ippy says, is it going to be a year-long quilt project? Yes. So the quilt along, that starts then at the end of the year. I hope there's enough structure in this video. I'm just really excited to share everything about it with you. The quilt along starts at the end of the year, and how we're going to do this is I'm going to make a kind of a jar with papers, so a raffle system, and every month I'm going to pick out 1 or 2, I don't know exactly how we're going to do it, names from the jar, and on that paper will be, for example, plant blocks or something like that, and then in that month we're going to make the plant blocks. So it will be a surprise. what we're going to make. Since you already have the book, then you already know what the quilt is going to look like. But that way we keep it fun and excited. So we're going to do that every month, and we have a live call where you can show your blogs, or where we can talk about it, and I can zoom in a little bit more on the happy behind the blog. And yeah, so that is kind of being a year long. I think we will be doing 10 months of sewing blogs, and then some time to finalize everything, finish the quilt and quilt the quilt. Yeah. So a year-long project, yes. And Karen says, I love the sassafras fabric. Yeah, me too. I really love it. It fits perfectly. Terry says, can't wait to see your new book. The first book was amazing. Oh, thanks so much. And Kat says, how many half yards are needed? Well, I have here 5 color groups. And for every color group, I have a light, a medium, and a dark color fabric. So yeah, you could do the same. And it is not that from the prints, so in every color group I have 1 print, and the prints you really need half a yard. But from the others, from some colors you do need half a yard, and from some you could do with a little less. But yeah, you don't want to end up with having too little fabric. There's always a block that goes a little bit different than you wanted to, or maybe you need to remake. So I would really suggest to take what is it, 5 times 3, 15 half yards. So, and if you use also 5 colorways, then you can still follow the fabric distribution in the quilt. That just gives you a structure to have it in a quilt, because like this, there's always 3 colors of 1 group, and here you have the extra color of green. But yeah, so that is easy to make a blue block or a green block that fits the quilt really well. Yeah, Justine asked, when can we pre-order the book and kit? On the 6th of June. Yes, so Tuesday, a week later. Yeah. So that's about 10 days from now, I think. Yes. Oh, Rebecca says, oh, I love that. I used to hate paper piecing when I started trying, but with your tutorials and encouragement, I now love it and prefer it over other methods. That is so awesome. That is really wonderful to hear. Yeah, I love it too. And I think it's really fun to do once you get the hang of it. So there was a question about that. I will answer that, and then I will jump into the pre-sale, what is going to happen there, and why it's better to order then than wait until the 1st of July. So a Q&A question that was sent in was, what is the skill level? I'm looking for something more than a beginner level. Yeah, so when you've never done foundation paper piecing, that is going to be quite a challenging quilt, but a doable one, because I have met many quilters that start with foundation paper piecing, and once they do a few blocks, you get the technique, and then you can kind of do every block because the system behind it is the same. But when you've already done a lot of foundation paper piecing, then I think a block with a little mug like this is kind of the easiest blocks in the book. And a block with a plenty friend like this one, you can already see has a lot more small pieces and some parts that need to be joined and that need to be like matching points. So I think this kind of tells what the skill level is. So there are easy blocks to start with, little mugs, something like this, simpler blocks that are in there to ease into it, but there are also more challenging blocks with multiple sections and parts that need to line up. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers what the skill level there is in the book, and it's all foundation paper piecing. We will do some variations on that by scaling blocks. But yeah, that is one of the extras in the book. Let's see, before I forget something. Yeah, so big sampler, half meter bundle, small sampler, fat quarter bundle, and there are also kits available for 2 of the projects in the book. So there is one special project in the book that is non-paper piecing. There's just one extra. I was making it just as a tryout experiment, and I thought it was so fun based on one of the blocks in the book. So I just put the quilt in the book. There's one project that is non-paper piecing but traditional piece, and I think it's super cool. And so there will be a kit for that, and there's also a kit for a other quilt that's in the book, and then you will get just the fabrics you need to make that quilt. And for almost, yeah, I think for all the other projects you can have a fat quarter bundle or half yard bundle and make all the projects with that if you want to use those fabrics. Yeah, so those 2 are available as well. Yeah, and the shipping I explained. And then the pre-sale. So the pre-sale will start on the 6th of June, and it will run for Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. No, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is it 6 days? That's 6 days. It will run for 6 days, so Tuesday up until the weekend. After that, you will have the possibility to buy your book, and with that you get 10% discount on the fabrics. So that is only in those 6 days, a 10% discount on the fabrics that go with it. And it's just a gift from me to you, to celebrate that you're waiting for the book, because I know some of you on my email list are waiting for the book, and it just makes me really happy that you've been asking about it. So 10% discount on fabrics when you order your book. You will get a signed copy sent from here, and the first 50 books will receive what's it called? I lost the name. A meter of tea bag paper. So the paper on which I'm working on here, this is, I love it. It's my favorite paper for paper piecing. So the first 50 people to order the book during the pre-sale will get a package of tea bag paper for free to try it out, to see how you like that, because it's my favorite. I love it. So I also made the whole, well, I say together with the test team of Sugaridoo, we made the whole sampler quilt from the book. That's also on tea bag paper. Yeah, this one as well. I love that for paper piecing. So that is a little extra that you get when you order it soon. So 10% off, a signed copy, and the first 50 books we'll order will get a package of tea bag paper as well. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So, and then it will start shipping out on the 1st of July. So there's the other thing that is an advantage of ordering during the pre-sale. I am going to order a amount of books after the 6th of June. So it gives me, those first day will give me a rough estimate of what I'm going to order. When you order during that week, you will be sure that you have a book from the first print, and those will all go out on the 1st of July. So ordering after the 1st of July, it could be that the first print is out of stock, or that we need to reprint, so that it will take longer for the book to get back in stock and ship out. So that's the practicality of it. That's also an advantage of pre-ordering your book on the 6th of June. Then you will know for sure that yours will ship out in the week of the 1st of July. And on the 1st of July, there's going to be a book celebration party. So then I'm going to do a whole show and tell of all the projects in the book. I will show you all the quilts and things in there. So if you're thinking now, why should I order the book before I know what's in there? In the next coming days, I will be sharing sneak peeks and give you more hints and glimpses of what is in the book. And on the 6th of June, I will reveal the cover of the book as well. So you will have a good idea on the 6th of June what you're getting yourself into, I think. And yeah, I think that will be fun. Let's see. Oh no, I lost my chat. Chat, where's the chat? Here's the chat. Let's see what's in there. Does the book have a bicycle? No, it does not. My first Sugaridoo sampler has the bicycle. Oh, Terry also says that. Yeah. How large is the biggest size of the quilt with the half-meter bundle? That is 63 by 84 inches. So 63 by 84 inches, that's the size of the big quilt. Carol says this is a mystery. Yeah. Ippy says, like your round robins that you do with your friends, can you do something like that for us to follow along as you have great ideas? That is so nice of you to say. Thanks. Well, it's a nice idea. I can put it on my list to figure out if I can do some YouTube series around that. Might be fun. Yeah. Carol says, I like using freezer paper. Any of the samplers make sense to use freezer paper? Yes, so freezer paper, I also love to use that. And especially I love to use that when you have multiple blocks, the same block. So for this quilt, for example, I use only freezer paper because a lot of those trees use the same pattern. And in the big sampler, you will have, I think, always at least 2 of the same blocks, maybe even more, sometimes 4 blocks, I'm not sure, but I think from every design you will have at least 2, so it does make sense to use freezer paper because then you can repeat and reuse that piece of pattern that you wrote down on freezer paper as well. Yes, so totally makes sense to make the sampler quilt on freezer paper. Yep. Yes. Thanks, Carol. Your tutorials lessons were wonderful on both methods. That's great. Thanks. Yeah. So yeah. Also in the book, there's a tutorial. If you've never done any foundation paper piecing yet, there's a photo tutorial on how to do. I explain this block, so step by step how to do that, and then you can use that same method to do for other blocks as well once you get the hang of the technique. So that was a lot of information. I am excited. Do you notice? Thanks, Mikita. Yay. Thrilled that you're here, Mikita. That is wonderful that you made it. Yes, so if I missed your question, please put it in the comments again, then I just missed it maybe. But I think I talked about a lot, and I think I covered everything. Yeah, so I'm mostly super excited that it's going to be here, the book, and that it will be possible to ship it out all over the world to quilters all over the world. And yeah, I'm just excited and super happy about it. Nadine says, how many separate patterns are in the book? 20 or 21. I counted them again this morning, and I think it was 20 or 21 separate patterns, and then there are also a few in different scales. So for example, you will have a plenty friend block in 2 sizes, and those 2 sizes will also be in the book on true size. So you don't have just one pattern that you need to scale up yourself. But yeah, 20 different foundation paper piecing blocks are in there. Yes. Yeah. I think that's it. And I can't wait till next week. And also, I'm very excited for this week and next week because I have had so many beautiful pictures and things that I want to share about the book for so long. But I have been waiting until it was almost time. So now it's almost time, and I'm going to share tons of sneak peeks, especially on Instagram. But I will also do a recap in my newsletter of all the sneak peeks. So if you want to see everything, just go over to my Instagram account, Sugaridoo on Instagram, and there you'll find a highlight where you can see all the sneak peeks and information on the book. I will also do, I can do a written recap of the information that I just shared, so you are all prepared on the 6th of June. Yes, I think that was it. Is there a theme of the book? Nature, household, happy. Happy is the theme. So everything that makes us happy, all the little things that spark joy, bring joy, is going to be in the book. Thanks so much for everybody being here. I'm going to close up the live Q&A. If you have any other questions that you didn't want to ask in the chat, just feel free to send me an email, info@sugaridoo.com, and I'm happy to answer it for you. And otherwise, see you soon in a next video. Bye!